I don't know why I'm wearing boobs. Okay, we have to do some backtracking. I remember we were like, we're not gonna have enough, so we have to do some backtracking. We can do some stuff here. My Lisa Rinna M&M skin. Oh, nice robe. Thank you so much for complimenting my robe. It is a new robe made by Udi. If you don't want to get an Udi and you want something that comes off nice and easy, something you could wear right out of the shower, something you can just throw on that has a little opening in the middle, opposed to the other Udis, you can buy one now with code NemesisNetwork30 at checkout. Use !Udi in the chat, and you can get a Udi robe right now. My headphones are tangled. We're all born Sackboys and the rest is Udi. Do you think Sackboy has an Udi? We have to get him an Udi. Wait, we need to get... We're missing the secret. There's a secret at the start of the level. We gotta find it. We're here for secrets. We're backtracking because we need secrets, so I don't want to miss anything. Okay, I don't think there's anything here. I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't look like there's anything. There's something definitely right here. There's one. So there's 3 we can get. I already missed one. What? How did I miss one? We just started the level. Tell me if you guys see it. You can backseat for this part. Oop, there's something over here. Wait. I don't want to jump off. I'm scared. Okay, there's nothing over there. I was wrong. At least we don't lose the thing we did. How did we already miss one? That's crazy. They're right here? Please. Oh, I know you love some Uptown Funk. Thought for sure it'd be under there. Oh! You cheeky devs. Wow. My only complaint about this game is that there's no running, which sucks, but... Gotta keep our eyes peeled. Love the music in this game. Gets me moving. Gets me moving and grooving in my hashtag Udi. Giggles. Okay, we got all the secrets, we can leave. I fucked those bitches up! Ow. I thought I just died. I was like, no way. Makes me want to go back and play Little Big Planet 3 or 2 or 1. We could. If y'all really like this one. This one's just convenient because it's on the PC. Nice. All right. Sorry, my cousin is... I'm having the conversation about redacted game with my cousin, but he's listening, so it's nice. My cousin and I used to be really close. Love my cousin. Love all my cousins. I would die for my family. Well, that's not true. There's some family members I don't like. Like, I remember this one time, like this... I posted on, I never post like on, like I don't even use Facebook anymore, I deleted it, but I posted and some family member that my mom, like, I remember this so distinctly. She was talking crap about my mom on Facebook, like on the timeline. And I remember specifically like being like, nope, never talking to her ever again. Like never talking to these people that are shit talking my mother. Like, how fucking dare you? Like, you're disgusting. So one of them messaged me the other day and I still haven't responded to it. Never, I don't think I ever will because I don't respect that woman. Like, I don't care if you apologize to my mother. I'll never forgive you for talking crap about my mom. In a public space. I was like, and you know what? I hope she sees this clip. Fuck you, Tammy. And Judy. No, literally, where is the class? Like, actually. There's definitely something in here. Nope. Nice. Hey! Back it up. Oh, we got it. Oh, we already got that. I'm doing good in my hashtag Udi. How are you doing? Very comfy. Oh, fuck you. Oh, I forgot. You have to pull it. Do it now. How you doing, babe? Happy to see ya. I know, the anal bead tech. Oh, I forgot I have to jump. Ah! Thanks, baby. You know I gotta do it to him. You know Mama's gonna get her bag to pay for this hair and makeup. Oh! I feel like there was something back there. I'm not sure though. No, we're good. Oh! Good music though. Okay, let me do this because I have no mods right now. Dun, 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 dun. Whee! Yeah, you really fuck it up. You were like, Nem, you should start posting more on TikTok and stuff. And I was like, I would, but that's a lot of work. I'll just sit here and look pretty. You fuck up some edits though, you do. They're really good. No, he's sad! Somebody make him happy! Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. What's happening? Oh, 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 oh. I feel like I'm on an iPad. Happy! Gimme. Go back here! Nice. Whee! Oh, wait, I have to tell my cousin something else. What time do you usually stream? I've not been able to catch you because I'm in Australia. Usually around this time, I would say. I kind of just stream whenever, like when my body's ready. I know that sounds like weird, but like, I never want to push my body to like be in pain. I never want my body to be too worn out. So I try to stream at least 6 to 7 hours every other day. So yeah, later in the evenings. I know that's like morning for you guys, because we do have a lot of we have a lot of Australian viewership. I think if anywhere, it's like US and then Australia is probably second most, and then the UK, because like the UK, it's like ass crack a night right now. When I am. Shit! How do I get on that? Yes, I just uploaded my VODs. That's how I got a YouTube partner and YouTube monetization. But they're very like hard with their copyright. Like so hard to just like, it's kind of ridiculous actually. Oh, you needed the boxes you broke? Damn. Not replay the level. It's okay, we can miss one. Oh, yes. I saw someone post me on a Bayonetta Reddit. It was funny. I was like, where are all these views coming from? But I guess the Bayonetta stands are, they love me. And I love them. I just didn't, I was like, what is happening? Right? My bitch is in drag. Oh, she's mad. Oh! Did you enjoy the direct? It was pretty mid. Pretty mid. And that's special, you know? I'm not even lying when I say I think the Beelzebub thing like was such a life-changing moment. It was so... Yeah, I've heard a lot of fans of Fantasy Life. So when I saw that, I was like, good for you guys. Like, happy for you. Oh, Jesus Christ. I went grocery shopping. I have too many groceries. She literally carried that game. Like the end of it, yeah. 100%. I know! I'm so sad. I was wrong. I was wrong. Listen, I admit defeat. Yes. Yeah, they have a lot of collabs in this. This is the Uptown Funk level, fuck. What if I smack this? Turn it off! Turn the music off! We ignore the copyright here. Sorry to the VOD watching, girlies. The live was great. Real. I think it's right here. Yep, that's right. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Girl said you hallelujah. Girl said you hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you.
No, I'm with you. This song is boring. I'll show you an Uptown Funk you up. Every time I hear this song, I think of Coco Montrese on Drag Race when she had to lip sync this. What did she lip sync with? Oh, Yara. Haha. 69. That's a funny number. What does that number mean? I don't know what that number means. Can someone tell me? Yeah, I seriously don't know. You should show me. We don't have any more. Not sword swallowing double. Stop! Where's the class? Guys, I thought it was just a number.
Sackboy.
This music right here is literally the opening to Jack and Daxter. Like, I'm not even lying.
Ta-da.
Love that game. If I had to stream a game for the rest of my life, it'd be that or Mario Sunshine. Yeah, Jack is hot. Like, he's everything I want in a man. Well, damn. I think we've done this. Yeah, we have. Yo, I'm fucking up these saltines. My jaw is feeling better, but this isn't helping. But like, I didn't have breakfast this morning because like the direct, I literally forgot to set an alarm. I literally fell asleep so fast. Like, no, literally. I mean, I'm so real. But I didn't get to eat anything this morning because I forgot to set an alarm, so I woke up in the depths of my sleep and I was like, oh, did I miss the direct? And it was like 2:30 and I was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to eat because I have to get in drag. Oh. So this is like my first meal of the day. It's just these saltine crackers, which is like, eats like I'm excited. They're very good, but.
Hello again, my intrepidatious sack friend. Made it all the way out to the jungle, eh? Remarkable, remarkable. Since I appear to be trapped for the foreseeable future, I'm trying to survive on some local delicacies. See? I discovered a new species of banana. I call it a potato. Oh, get off me! Get off me, I say!
Can you give me the item I need?
Thank you, my friend. I thought that was the end of Gerald for sure. Here, if you get hungry on your travels, bring on the curtains. Oi, Sackboy! Don't go bruising me nanas. They are stock and trade. Imagination food.
I'll bruise a banana, but it's not gonna be something you eat. Sorry. Who would say that? That's so gross. Yeah, well, Australia isn't real, so. Where's the end of the level? Oh, I usually go into labor. And that's after having a couple... Nope. I'm gonna stop myself. We're sponsored. You guys want to buy a nudie?
You're doing great, Sackboy. Might even make you an honorary member of
Goose.
the Order of the Yellow Crescent-shaped fruit. Yeah? Look impressed.
I'm uploading it now, Goose. It should be uploaded hopefully tonight. I'm eating a bag of saltines. I didn't have breakfast because of the direct, so. Wait, my Udi is kind of lesbian rights. It kind of looks like the lesbian flag. I don't really have a highlight from the direct. I liked Metroid and the Game Boy stuff. Somebody Amigo was cute. Oh my god, what a coincidence that I am using my Udi that I got from Nem stream using exclamation point Udi, and it's so comfortable. So true! See, they spilled. And I've met John, so yep. I can't lie because me and John have met IRL. Exactly. There's no, I can't lie. There's a thingy in here. We have to go get it. What is this attire? Oh, I go naked? you guys ever run around your house naked? I do it every day. Just kidding. When I go BRB on stream to go to the bathroom, I just take my clothes off and run around naked. Oh, I forgot to grab the item we need for the level. Girl, be serious. Hello. No heart. Yeah, same, I don't. I was just kidding. It was just a bit. It was actually just a bit because I'm so body dysmorphic and I haven't even taken risque pictures in like since a while. Body dysmorphia. And I don't really have pictures to take risque. I don't have anyone to take risque pictures for, so does it matter? No. Somebody help him. Yourself. Yeah, but then if I take them for myself, I want to send them to somebody, so. That's true. You should take pictures for yourself, but also like. I liked the era of like close friends and Twitter circle, but did you see like they're gonna possibly remove it? I'm scared like it would just like post my shit without me. What's up here? You're gonna have me on speaker while you're in the shower? Okay. No, yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Somebody said that it could get public. Somebody says that they're posting, like, I don't know. It's like rumored. I've like only recently started using Snapchat again. I love a good snap streak, but I'm scared that if I like stop, like, if you have a snap streak with me, oh, we are riding until it, I don't even care. Like, we can never fight. Like, we're not allowed to fight. If we have a snap streak, we have to keep that going. Like, it's literally almost as if we are in a committed relationship. Like, that's how my snap streaks are. I'm like, you sit your ass down and stay in this snap streak. My snap is, it's just NemesisLacroix, so anybody can add me. But you're gonna be stuck in a snap streak if you hit that 3-day. I wanna check in on you every day. You gotta make sure we talk. I only have 2 right now though, so. No, that's not allowed to happen. True. That's not allowed to happen. I don't care if you're not allowed. Nope. Don't talk to me, I'm grieving. I can't, no! That's not allowed to happen. Even though me and my bestie, we already talk every day, so. Me and my cousin bestie. But we don't do a snap streak. I had a 100-day snap streak with a guy one time, and then he ghosted me out of nowhere. It was literally during TwitchCon, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Wait. That's what I'm saying. It's every single guy like, I don't even mean this because, like, this is like Overwatch comp. Like, when I'm in Overwatch, I'm like, it's everybody's problem on the team except for me because I'm not the problem. That's like me in real life. I'm like, everybody's the problem, not me. Which should be studied because that's not that's kind of toxic, but like every relationship, like literally every relationship, I swear to you, I swear on God and my kids and whatever you wanna, the Torah and everything. These men intentionally try to like gas me up. Like they try to get a rise out of me with every fucking thing. Like my ex-boyfriend, when we broke up like years ago, he got a job bartending at the local club that I used to go to every week. So then it would be hard for me to go there. I'm like, you cannot tell me that wasn't intentional to get me. They try to gas me up. They do. They love to get a rise out of me. No, no penis. No penis. No penis. No penis. Only girl cock. And femme cock. Femme tops? Let's just put it here. Let's just put it out there. I know everybody like memes femme tops, but they kind of run the world. I'm gonna be honest. I love a femme top. I love a blouse. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Maddie. Goose games, please. Most of them are. Yeah, that's true.
Welcome to Zoom Zooms. Here, you can choose an outfit to set the
I think it's because like I'm literally pansexual and like also bi, like somewhere on that spectrum. Like I love women, I love feminine things. Like I'm so attracted to them, but I just love penis. Which I'm not saying like only like women can have penises. Obviously, I'm not saying that because hello, I'm a woman with a penis. But I just love like I'm so attracted to feminine stuff. So somewhere, something else, something queer, something gay. That's me.
Zoom Zooms has the best stock of clothing in all of the Imagisphere. Also, the only stock in all of the Imagisphere.
No, I've been in relationships with women and I love women. Like one of my first girlfriends, like I think I had like a 2-year relationship with this girl and like I loved her, like, and I would sleep with her if I wanted to, but I'm kind of more of a, that's where I see myself like kind of demi. Like I can't like, I have to be so romantically like into it to like do anything of that cult, like, you know what I mean? That's why that's why I can't participate in hookup culture. I wish I could, but I just can't. Props to anybody that can. I can't.
You're Zoom Zoom's best customer. Well, you will be when you buy something.
I also just like don't look at like, I don't look at it like, oh, I'm attracted to women, I'm attracted to men. I'm attracted to people that I'm attracted to, regardless of whatever they identify as, you know what I mean? Like if you're hot, and I really like you. And also if somebody was like, if somebody did identify themselves as a man and we were dating in like a relationship and they wanted to transition, like I would still be interested in them because I have like such a connection with them. I wouldn't like, because I remember, like, we're gonna get deep for a second, and I think I've talked about this once or twice, but I remember specifically when me and my ex and I, like, my first long-term relationship, like my high school sweetheart, whatever, he's out there, we're like friends now or whatever. I remember him specifically saying to somebody else, oh, Nem is starting their transition, I don't know how to feel X, Y, and Z, and was kind of like, they're transitioning, I don't know what's happening, opposed to being supportive. So like I kind of have like trauma with that, and like I would never see my partner as somebody that like is going through something and not support them. Like I see them for the person they are and my love for them. Not that there's some like piece of meat that I need to be attracted to what is in front of me and how they present. Like I would never act like that. Acting like that isn't right. Like not supporting your partner in their transition. That ain't right. I don't care how you say it. You can say it's preference or whatever, but I just don't think it's right. And that's where we disagree, and it's okay. Clap if you've ever wanted to. Yeah, real. Hello? Oh. What the? Yeah, I would. That's where we disagree. I think that's insanely not preference, it's kind of pretentious to say, I'm not attracted to you anymore because you're transitioning. That's very pretentious to me and I don't like that, but that's okay, we can disagree. And I wouldn't be somebody's friend if they said that to me. I'd say, have fun finding people else in your life, and that's okay. I don't want to be near anybody that doesn't want to support my... Even if you are supporting me and not being attracted to me in that way. Yep, I agree. That's a great way to put it, AV Hero. It means you cared for a figure and not a person. I agree. It also, like, you know when you, like, stop talking to somebody or, like, somebody gets mad at you and then they, like, you don't continue that conversation with them? It's kind of like that, like, oh, you really didn't care about me from the start then, if you really don't really. I wouldn't know how to react. I've never been in that situation, but yeah, I would find that hurtful. If you're on the trans person's side, yeah, it would be hurtful. Because it is. Your partner is saying, okay, we're gonna break up because you want to be yourself. You want to live comfortably in your own skin. But I don't want to support that for you. Because I have a preference, an aesthetic preference. No, that's not a right way to put it. I have a preference to the idea of gender, really. In a way. Oh! There we go. Good conversation, chat. See, like, when we can have conversations like that and somebody doesn't get aggressive. I remember last time we had a conversation like that, somebody said that the entirety of Texas supported the LGBTs and then said, fuck myself, I'm stupid. I said, okay. How do I get in there? We go this way? over here? Yeah, basically. We did it. Engage! Emblem engage! I should have kept my ring on for that. I can say from personally experiencing it, it does not feel great. And I've never been the same with that person that basically broke up with me because I was identifying as someone that is not a he, him anymore. So I can say from experience, it's not a great feeling. Nor do I want to really be connected to that person after saying that to me. So, but everybody's different, to each their own. We can disagree on things, it's okay. Para me, no, literally para me. For me. Oops. Oops. I don't know why. There's something right there. Do you see that? What is over there? Yeah. Yeah. I also like, okay, let me say something. This might not be correct, but I think if you are admitting to your significant other that you identify as trans and you identify as something, and they say, I'm not romantically interested in you, I preference blah, blah, blah. This whole conversation isn't about you. It's about my transition. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's about me. It's about me being in touch with myself in my gender. Like, you need to be supportive of that, as I would be supportive of you in any life situation that you make. But that's, I guess, where the paths cross, is that some people don't give a shit about you. Can you get over here? This fucking thing, get over here. Thank you. Daudi moment. Well, it's crazy that, like, we're talking about my experience with exes and stuff, and like when I came to terms that I identified as something that wasn't he, him, and my ex said, I'm not attracted to you and we're breaking up and blah, blah, blah. It was crazy because the 2 years prior, my partner, like, I think, this might be a little TMI, but I am very, like, sex positive, whatever. My ex was asexual and I literally supported, like, that entire, like, we didn't have sex for, like, 1.5 years. And, like, not that I'm putting myself on the line, but, like, I supported him in that. But when I was like, hey, I think I'm trans, he's like, no, 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 no. I'm like, oh. Gotcha. Right. So I'll do everything for you, but when it's my turn, you won't do everything for me. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yes! My God. I mean, he knows. He knows too. Like, we've had conversations after the fact. Cause he was my high school sweetheart. I love that guy from, like, far away. He's in a happy relationship now, whatever. But he knows he was a terrible person to me. Like, we've had conversations on the phone about it. At least he can admit it. Like, he admitted it years later, but... Oh no, we stand by, guys. We do. Some people in the chat might not, but I do. Don't be a bi erasure. That doesn't fly here. I protect my bi guys. Ugh. And also, like, I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Like, obviously, like, if you are one of those people that, for whatever reason, you choose your preferences over, I guess, your partner's mental health, really. You know, enjoy my content from afar, but I don't know if I would necessarily like to engage in a lot with you. I respect you and I love you. Have your own thoughts and opinions. These are mine. Simple as that. How many did we get? Floor's not bad. We definitely needed that. We're approaching the end of the level. I'm sure this conversation will be sort of outdated eventually, but I don't know. I can just say from my experience being in a troubled relationship with something like that, maybe if it was different, you know, it's all about experience, really. Please. I mean, I said it earlier. I attract men that are broke, and I'm like, I can't. I'm done with that. I always be paying for shit. I always be doing the most. I can't. You need a hefty wallet if you're gonna be my guy. That's not even me being greedy, but like, come on. So true. Very emotionally unavailable. And you try to drag it out of them and it's like pulling teeth. I can't stand people buying me shit. No, I love it. Tired of mending men. So real. You're so correct for that. I'm tired of the chase. You know? Tired of like, come back to me and do this and begging and pleading. Like, send me a morning message. Girl, I literally like, one of my most recent ones were like, yeah, asking for a good morning message is too much. I was like, literally, hello? Then I saw the snap score increase and I went, okay, so now you're just lying to me. Girl, I don't give a fuck. I'm that crazy girlfriend. I see your snap score go up and you're not responding to me? What's going on, baby? What's going on? So real. So I wish people were more upfront with it. Like, I wish people were more upfront with it, because a lot of people just be playing around and kicking their feet up, and I'm like, girl, just, if you want me, then say it. It's not that serious. The music right now? What's happening? I'm clearly having issues. Not our first game over. Oh, there's a secret back there. Oh! Thank you, Pixel. I mean, yeah, a lot of things is just like communicate, but some people that are not emotionally mature don't get that. I'm very emotionally mature and I can admit that, so some people aren't. What is this box? Okay. Wait, the way it is, Material Girl? Hold on. I thought you guys were trolling. It actually, like, kind of is. Oh my god, that was so close. I think it's just the track. Like the whatever material girl is like.
Good to see you again, fellow explorer. You won't believe it, but I've... Ow!
Can you just give me the fucking
That's what a
star?
bloke from Mo would feel like. Here, why don't you hang on to this? Think it's one of his eggs, but you can have it
Thanks.
yourself. Toodle Pipplington.
I've gotten no things in this level, and we need them. That's like one thing I don't like about these games is that you kind of have to 100% kind of sometimes to progress. Like right now we're like kind of stuck. No. What is that? I only got one thing in this level. Does it matter? Ugh. We're so screwed. Oh, there was only 3. So maybe it's not too bad. I thought we missed 5 and I was like, well, we're fucked. Oh, we can do the extra levels. I forgot we have those. Okay, so we kind of have to get 5, 10, 15, 75. We kind of have to get these next levels 100%ed. I have to go to the bathroom though.
Trials you have waiting for you.
We don't.
Oh, time to test those skills.
Hello? Why am I tangled right now? Like, what's happening? I just broke another fucking nail! I can't.
One day I'll tell you about my own grand battle with Vex. He was trying to wipe out all the stories in the world back then, but, you know, I sorted him out. Do you know, there's still so much of Craftworld you haven't seen. I've travelled through it all my life, and I've barely scraped the surface. When all of this is over, I'm going to take a nice long holiday. Maybe take a trip to Bunkum. Sometimes I like to close my eyes.
Okay, I love this conversation, but I'm kind of over talking about relationships because I'm depressed and lonely and single. So let's play this game. Teehee.
I'm not.
Love you guys.
There have been a lot of female knitted knights, you know. Grenadine the Grand, Taffeta the Tough, Scarlet the one standing right in front of you.
I did want to try. Oh, I did want to try this. Y'all know I love my Sonic G Fuel, but I didn't know there was a Knuckles flavor. I was gagged. So I want to just take a little sippy and try it out. I've been saving it to try on stream.
They say it comes from inside people's heads out there.
It is sour flavored, so I don't think I'm gonna like it because I don't like sour. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog G Fuel Knuckles Flavor Sour Power. Huh. It's giving me
a lot of female.
It's giving me what are those called? Oh my god, it's giving me Italian ice. Do you guys know those Italian ices? It's giving me that, but like a drink. Yeah. That's what I'm getting from it. It's giving me like I'm on the beach. I just got something from the ice cream truck. Either an Italian ice or one of those popsicles. That's what I'm getting from it.
Gold scores in my day. Of course, I didn't have to stitch myself back together every morning then.
No, it's not. I don't know what flavors are in it. You can probably look on the website. I don't know what is it. No, not a pina colada. So real.
They used to call me Scarlet the Scourge.
Can you shut the fuck up? Oof. Oh! Ideally, I think you want to use the momentum of the platforms to fling you forward. Oh my no! Ah, fuck. We'll get there. Oh! Do we know what the gold is? I didn't even look at the thing. Oh! Woo! Oh! Please be 40. Gold has to be 40, please. Yes, we got it. He said, I'm not taking the picture. Say, catch this ass, baby. Exactly.
Now that's how you complete a challenge. Gold all the way.
The fuck is this? Oh, we work with it. First try. Nice. Hi, Mia. Hi, little guy. We're playing Little Guy, the video game. This is your video game. You are the main character.
You got gold.
Thank you for 34 months. I love you so much.
You smashed it, as I believe the young sacklings say.
Oh, yes. The little guy, like, you can customize the little guy. He's so cute. He's chilling. Such a cute little video game we're playing. How are you settling into the new place? How are you doing? Happy to see you. Hold on, let me try to... I can't show off little guy right now. Okay, I literally already die. Okay. Thank you. Will you be catching the Harley Quinn Valentine special tomorrow? The what? We're on our hashtag definitely sponsored hashtag Udi. It's starting to slay. Quite literally, we were traveling on the same day when you went to LA. Oh wow, I die. How did your trip go? Okay. Wait, what was the fastest time? Doesn't even tell me. Oh, really? No, I won't be catching it. I don't need to consume Valentine's Day content. I don't need to do Valentine's Day stuff because I'm going to be single and lonely, so... I'm good! I have my little silly video games to entertain me. Fuck men. I'm not gonna say no if a man wants to put some money in my bank account or buy me cookies. No, I'm not gonna say no to that, baby. But let it be known. Oh my god, how are you recovering from all of it? Literally, you were so... I felt so bad because I was just like watching it all happen, and I got somebody, I saw some of your like tweets about it. I was like, please. You were ready to, I've never seen you that mad. I love you so much. I was like, you better. I didn't, everybody was like, okay, like, I might be just like, I'm definitely a Pisces, but everybody was dragging, like, I know his fit, I actually liked like the like the outfit, the Swarovski thing, like with the pattern. I didn't think it was that bad. Like it was fully rhinestoned and like kind of cool. Okay. Why is this one so hard? Could you imagine like next year or something he just goes full like limp wrist and is like, hey guys, and like serves it? I would live. Oh my god. My favorite part of the thing was, did you see Adele met The Rock? Because I guess in I think it was her video with, Nikki Tutorials, she said, I want to meet The Rock. So like the Grammys like set it up for them. Wait, did he have a performance? Oh, I missed it. I didn't watch it. I don't have cable. Yeah, I just saw the record. I just saw what was literally happening on the Twitter, TL. And like if you tweeted anything, I saw that. I like really just want to get, oh, we have to be 40 seconds. Like this is insanity. Oh, this is a good shortcut. Oh, not that. We need to literally we have Mia stan Harry and then Maddie stans Kim, and then some people are like, oh, like nope, like oh. Sorry. Just like that like concept is funny. Sorry. My oomph are struggling. It's bad for us. Fuck! I think that's like, I don't even like, like not to try, like, I don't know. Also, did you see why were Gottmik and Violet there? Like as the entourage. I was like, what is happening? We're not gonna get into it. That's a whole conversation. And I don't really care. Like, not even saying this because, like, one of my mods stands Harry, but, like, I just, like, genuinely don't care. Like, like, I don't, like, people put so much energy into that man, but, like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I just actually don't care. Like, it's fine. Well, it's not fine, but I just, like, don't care. I used to be on like the train of like people that were like, oh my god, fuck him, but like it's like, who actually cares though? Like actually, I don't know. No, actually, yeah. Please. 40! Oh, it's 45. Also, what is that Animal Crossing update they're releasing? What is that about? Why is there an Animal Crossing update? It sure did. Hi, Ozaki. I was just about to ask, how was the direct? It was all right. I'm trying to think of like something. Oh, they added Bird out of Mario Kart. I think that's like, I'm just like trying to think of like things that like you would stand. They added Bird out of Mario Kart. They added Game Boy games to the Switch, which is kind of cute. Not something I think you would play, but like something you could install for like a plane ride or travel or something maybe. Yeah, nothing like crazy revolutionary. Yeah. Also about the Grammys, did you know that people can do audiobooks and win Grammys for doing audiobooks? Huh. When I do an audiobook and I get a Grammy, oh my god. Yes! That's how Lily Tomlin and I think Viola Davis just won because she got the EGOT status because I think she wrote a book and then she did an audio thing, and I think that's because that's how she got it. That's how a lot of people get the EGOT status. If they're not singers. Does this have caffeine in it? It's a Snapple. What is this? It's a peach tea. I thought it was just juice. What is tea? Filtered, oh, there's sugar in it. That's probably what I'm feeling. Huh. Wait, they do? Wait, stop. Wait, do these have caffeine in it? There's no way. I will actually be gagged right now. There's no way. Hold on. My anxiety attack ensues. If it includes real tea. Black and green tea. It's made from black and green tea. Shut up. Snapple doesn't have caffeine. You're literally joking. I thought this was juice. Okay, but do you understand what's on my desk right now? I have this. A fully depleted G Fuel, a Snapple, and now I'm drinking another one? I thought this was just juice! And then I have this! I thought this was like water. Right. Okay. So what we learned today is that Snapple is not water. Crazy revelation here. What's making me anxious is that this. These are 4 things with caffeine in it. And I'm trying to get rid of caffeine. I literally didn't know Snapple had caffeine in it. Like, I'm literally gagged right now. Oh, they gagged. Okay, we're gonna shut the Snapple. Let's read the facts on the Snapple now that we've consumed 20 of them. Dragonflies have 6 legs, but cannot walk. A dragonfly? Dairy cows. I think so. I don't think Dia works.
A dragonfly.
Dairy cows drink up to 50 gallons of water per day. God, I wish that was me. It's literally one of the first things that come up. Okay, hi Aqua. Right. Okay, so we're gonna throw these away and we're gonna put the others in the fridge and then we're gonna get some water. That sounds lovely, doesn't it? I can't believe I had a full nail set on and it's like already gone. Like, okay. Oh my god, I almost just tripped and fell. I don't know what just happened upstairs, but it's fine. We ignore. Someone's kicking and screaming. Why is like the back of this like not brushed? Whatever. All right. Boobies, titties out. Put those away. Boobs away. Look at how funny he is. Look at a little bit. Oh. Little guy. Little guy. He's so silly, little fella. This is water. I've learned my lesson. Kind of reminds me of this game. This game reminds me of Little Nightmares. Little guy. I want another musical level. I want to listen to Uptown Funk again, because that was so fun before. So true, actually. Boobies do make everything better. I agree. Okay. We could swap. Yes. Oh, that's a nice little secret. Okay. I don't think there is a thing such as man boobs. I think there are just boobs, and I love boobs. So how do I get myself out of this situation? Well. Does this have a hood? Oh, it does. when I do this. I swaddle myself in here. Hey. Okay. Oh, there was actually no reason to come over here. Oopsie, ow. Oh, gagged. Okay, I'm panicking. What was that? I am Pajama Guardian! Okay. This is a boss. Oh my god, like the slappy hands from the arcade. I'm literally getting gagged. Oh, I died. Whoa! You spin me right round. Okay, okay. Can you spawn the thing so I can end the fight? Wait, okay. Oh! That artist? Didn't... Isn't that Pete Burns? Didn't Pete Burns die? Please. How dare you mess that up? Just kidding. No, I'm trying to watch it. Have you been watching it? I saw there was like a gay thing. Because the, like, they actually do reference the video game like pretty well. I've seen like the comparisons. I'd honestly love to watch it when it's like all, is it airing like every week? How many episodes are there? Like, are there gonna be? I'd love when it's finished to watch it and then play the video game and see like the references. That'd be cool. Marshall's actually playing it right now. He's playing the first one. Every Sunday. Interesting. Oh, here's a music level. This isn't Uptown Funk. I love that they added Bowie. Well, watch this, Mia. Why can't I dance? I want to dance. I have dance emotes. Let me do it. Oh, here we go. Dances. Oh, I do a salsa. Ah! Oh, up here. This is definitely getting copywritten, so... we enjoy this while we can. I wonder why they didn't have a music level in the second level. No, literally, the bot's gonna get muted so fast. Hi, Hungry, how you doing? I love how the levels match up to the beat of the song. It's pretty awesome. Oh, the one forever ago that I had to get in a call and Jenny and my friend Dottie had to help me play. Because I couldn't get it correctly. So bad. But we need to get all the orbs. Oh, we don't want to jump up. I don't want to get murdered. Ugh! Ah! What's happening? Oh, I run? Does he come over here? He doesn't. Oh no, he does! Ah!
Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like a
That was good. A lot better than Uptown Funk. Don't tell Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno Mars. It's so cute. I literally have like my like skin is so itchy and so dry because I just ordered a bunch of stuff. Like I ordered a bunch of makeup. Like I had to use like crappy makeup today because I have no makeup left. I just reordered a bunch, so my skin doesn't feel great right now. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to stream until my makeup comes in. Like, actually, I have no makeup left. I don't know how it got to this point, but we're here. What outfit? Oh, I love this one. The music? That's funny. It's like music. Oh my god, that's so funny. I only have 3 nails left. I just lost another.
Ah, you've made it to my Museum of Sunken Wonders, where the obscenely wealthy can make their dreams come true. Only the... Well, you could have at least let me finish my thought before you half-inch down. You're not supposed to touch stuff here.
Ow. Ah! I definitely missed the secret. It's fine. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh my god. Eh. We survived. Still alive, but I'm barely. Ah! Okay, right. Wish there was the trans flag. Oh my god! What is that? Oh. There's gotta be a secret. No, definitely there's a secret. Hold on a second. There's definitely a secret. Aha! You tried to get me, but I got you. Oh. Oh, I have to use this. Did you like the Nintendo thing? They're adding, so they hot dropped the Metroid game. There's a Metroid 1 remake. They remade Metroid 1 and hot dropped it. It's available right now. Besides that, they added Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games, and they're adding more to the Switch. Then they added Bird Out of Mario Kart. A little gameplay trailer of the new Zelda game. And that's really it. A lot of indie titles, though. A lot of indie titles. Not like indie, but like, you know. Not AAA publisher, like the AAA, you know. I don't know what you would call it. I can't believe I just missed that secret. I'm so mad. Whatever. Oh, I didn't pose. TOS. I like that it dances with me in its tummy. I'm hungry. Oh my god, we made it. We have over 90. We eat. We actually eat. I'm so glad you came to Mia. Thank you so much for saying hi. I love you. I want to see the place when it gets all spruced up and all gorgeous.
Go, fly, my pretty one.
Huh? I'm so stupid.
You are poetry in motion. Good poetry, not the...
I don't want to do this level. Thanks for hanging. Oh my god, the music? I feel like we missed a secret already. The music! Work. Oh, I have to ground pound. Okay. I can't believe I just died there. I'm so stupid. I love the music here. Wow. I'm gagged. Tried to sneak this on me.
Ah, my young Sackboy.
Gimme.
Oh, well, that's the second sock in a day. This giant pearl I found.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Here, you take it. I need a minute. I hope we run into each other again.
Excuse me. That was easy. Movement just feels so good in this game. Oh shit. Oh. This is so fun. Until I die. Just kidding, it's not, but just kidding. It's one of the best levels in the game so far. That was so fun. I loved it. That and the Bowie level were really good. Just give me the remaining 2 in here and then I'll stop. It's boss time. The way we're never gonna hear that ever again is so sad. Or her theme song. So sad.
rid of that scrounger vet, and we'll say no more. I didn't see nothing, and you can turn me into crab cakes with sweet chili and ginger dipping sauces if I'm missing.
Oh my fucking... Mercedes Monet. She's about to have her match in a couple days. A return match. I wonder if Naomi's gonna go to the match. She's got it. It's in LA. Can you imagine if it was in Boston, her hometown? Like, okay, tell me she's gonna win the match without telling me she's gonna win the match. Well, that's what it's supposed to sound like money.
I'm so glad you made it. Stealing all these tides is just no fun without an audience. There's no need for that. You and I, we have so much in common. You wanted change, adventure?
The guy the other day that had the gay flag and flashed it behind Bailey. So real.
And rebuild Craft World together. I know it's what your sack pals would want. See? My topsy-turver's almost done. Soon, the uproar will be everywhere.
I want to get her Sailor Moon merch.
Excitement and fear. You can't stop it, so why not be part of it? What do you say?
I wonder what attire she's gonna have in 2K23. I hope they don't completely take her out.
No one refuses me.
Because if Bianca and Becky got scanned at Mania, I wonder if Naomi and Sasha got scanned at Mania. Because all the champs probably got scanned at Mania.
You hurt my feelings. Now I'm going to hurt you. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten your favorite toy. Here you go.
Or Rumble. Rumble would be good because her Sailor Moon was that one. And they scanned all of the alum at Rumble.
Reverse off. This isn't funny anymore. This packs a real punch. Try not to dodge this one. Back and forth. Feeling dizzy yet?
Oh. Why? I love that gear. Oh, you're a hater.
Let's bring things to a nice simmer.
Clash of the Castle was too late. That was in like summer. This is intense right now. Like, what is happening?
I'm not going to take this anymore. Your worst nightmares are about to
It's not like people aren't gonna make her gear.
There's nothing you can do to stop me.
That's why I don't really mind what they choose for gear. I'm like, people are just gonna make it, so it doesn't matter.
I know how you feel, but you can still save them. There have been many knitted knights in Craft World's history. Each one unwilling to give up, no matter what the odds were. When their time's up, They ascend to the Imagosphere and watch over us, always. So remember, you're not doing this alone.
The wig?
Yes, and you've got me too. So where are you off to next? If it's stars he's after, there's no better place than the Interstellar Junction, where no sack person has gone before. No, wait, actually, I think I have gone there before.
I think it's because they can't do marketing for Mandy because, you know, she was fired, but she's definitely in there. There's no way she's not. They don't cut people. They don't, if they've already added people in, well, I don't know. This is me. I literally don't know. I'm just guessing. Please, nobody through the 2K pipeline think that I'm exposing it. Like, I'm guessing. I know it's just as much as you guys do. Like last year, they couldn't introduce like Naya and Peyton and the Iconics because they all got fired. They obviously have Sasha, Naomi, Mandy in there because they were such big faces in the year before. So they're definitely in there, but they can't use them as marketing because they got fired. So they're definitely in there, just we haven't seen them yet. Well, no, Rhea doesn't have blonde hair in the game because she has pictures of her out already. Marshall. Someone didn't watch the vlog. Okay, well, it was in the vlog, so someone didn't watch it. Fake fan. Ours is pretty updated and like she has like custom animations, which is crazy. She's like the golden child right now. Like when she kicks out of a pin, she like does like the Rhea thing that she goes like this on the mat, like extended like this, and she goes like this and like wipes her face. Yeah, that's when that game was based off of, though. I keep getting added. Stop this madness. Ew, this close-up of me, no filter. Ugh. What's today? Wednesday? Damn it. We started pretty early, so I think I'm gonna end, honestly. I'm like, why am I so tired? But I was like, well, the direct was today, so girl, you're fine. Thanks for hanging. I'll be live again. Today's Wednesday. I don't know when I'll be live again. Hopefully soon. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. I don't know. Whenever I want to stream, honestly. Definitely not during Drag Race. And SmackDown. So Fridays are like kind of my day. I like to watch Drag Race. I like to watch SmackDown. So yeah, go to my YouTube channel to rewatch the VODs. Everything's uploaded on there. We're not continuing Mario Party, but we will continue Sackboy. We'll play another Mario Party game. Mario Party DS is done. I'm done with that. Done. But I'm just gonna end stream here. So go to Stream Queens if you want to see other stuff, but I'm gonna end. Bye everybody, thanks for hanging. I'll see you on the next one.